Hello everyone, Nadim here with PC.Solutions.Net. Let's talk a little bit about intrusion prevention. Intrusion prevention is such a core piece of IT infrastructure that when we do our fixed cost outsourcing, our FCO program, we offer it as part of the package. In other words, there is no option to remove it from the package. It's such a core, essential part of the package that it's always included. And here's a little bit of what it does and what it gives you. So the intrusion prevention, here's an example, an example company where we have the intrusion prevention running, and this is just a typical company. In this case, the example is it's actually running workloads that are more pertinent to accounting firms. So think of this company as an accounting company, accounting firm, an accounting practice. So here we see what our intrusion prevention system has detected. Now this is from this morning. And as you can see, there are some IP addresses that it has, the source and destination IPs. And what's interesting is, in this case, the customer has no idea that they are under attack. They have no idea that they're being targeted by some Trojans that are trying to gain access. But you can see how malware CNC Trojan is trying to gain access multiple times, Cobalt Strike DNS beacon multiple times. So you can see how some of these malwares and Trojans are trying to gain access. So now these are active attacks coming in from a public IP address to the public IP on that appliance interface. This is the border router, so it's an active attack on that border router. The good thing is, with our intrusion prevention system, the attack is captured. It is quarantined. Now, what we can do, there's situations where the same set of IPs is attacking multiple times. So what we do is we will block that entire subnet for a certain amount of time. So let's say if we detect 20 attacks in 5 minutes, we're going to block that subnet for 2 hours. If after the 2 hours the attacks continue, we'll indefinitely block it, and then human intervention is required to remove the block. So it's an easy automated way that we can protect the corporate network by blocking these external attacks that are targeting those IP addresses. But you can see how there are numerous attacks going on, and just all kinds of stuff happening on this network. So the reason it's a core essential piece of our platform is, without this one component, you're at risk. Think of it this way. Let's say you already have somebody's laptop they brought in from home and they connected to the corporate network, via Wi-Fi, and that machine is already infected. That machine, let's say, has infected one of your server drives or whatever. An example. Now, let's say it's ransomware. So what's going to happen is that ransomware is going to try to talk to command and control center, waiting for instructions. If our system or any system blocks that request from going out, or from their command and control center from communicating back, then we've basically halted the attack in its tracks. And that's how the system is so immensely powerful that even with attacks that normally you would think it's hard to you know, counter such attacks, the system just breaks them because it breaks that chain of command, that communication channel. It just breaks that communication channel. Now, this is an AI based system where it is always learning over time. And the best part is, as time goes on, the system gets more and more intelligent. So it will learn from other nodes across the world. So it is always learning. There's also a team of people that their sole job is to analyze payloads and then train the system. So even though the system learns by itself, there's also a human element where we can do overrides and stuff to the system, because not every industry is the same. I mean, there might be an IT company that needs to have this malware attack them so they can learn more about that malware or that Trojan, right? So in that case, we'll go ahead and allow it for that specific customer. But in this day and age, you have, just having NAT, which is what a lot of your ISPs will do, is they'll say, oh yeah, we've got you a firewall. It's really not a firewall. All they're doing is network address translation. Basically, they're splitting one public IP into multiple private IPs, and they're saying there's your firewall. That's not a firewall. On top of that, you need to have a packet-based packet filtering firewall. So what that is going to do is it's going to look at each packet and make a decision whether it's going to allow that packet or not. On top of that, you need the intrusion prevention system, because now you're adding that intelligence in those layers. Security is always a layered approach. The more layers you have, the better it is. And a lot of times what will happen is, even if a human targets your network, they're going to peel a few layers off. They're going to say, nah, too much trouble. Let's go over to the easier target. So always layer your security. It's just good practice. And we've been doing this for over 20 years now. And one of the things we learned early on was some technology options are better when they are not an option for the customer. In this case, the intrusion prevention system. So if you want to be on our fixed cost outsourcing program, you have to get this intrusion prevention system. It is that important. I mean, we have, this system has saved so many companies' behinds. I remember there was an IT company, well, a technology company. They do they make application for data transfer between companies, and they were adamant they didn't want such a system in place. And we were like, just try it. What have you got to lose? Just run the system. We won't do any blocks. We'll just capture the information and give you the report. It was eye-opening. That company was under attack more than this example company, this accounting firm example that we have. I mean, that they were getting bombarded, like every second they were getting so many hits on different subnets attacking them, trying to get in. And I think the reason for that was because all their customers who do EDI or data transfer, they were using parts of their network. So these bad guys saw all this traffic from different companies around the world going to this one set of IPs. So they were like, hey, that's a good target. So let's try to break in there, because if we break in there, we're going to get an idea of all this data that's coming in. So it was, I mean, it's just eye-opening. So there's really no excuse for not having an intrusion prevention system in place. NAT is not enough. Simple firewall is not enough. You have to have that layered approach. So I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it simple. This is an essential part of our stack. This is a core component of our program, and so much so that we don't offer our program without this option. So you have to have it. We have to implement this. It's so important. So that's it for today. Everybody have a good day, and until tomorrow, be safe out there.